something I've been checking you out. Baby, you caught my eye, I wanna see where this goes. Want you to be my wife, baby, it's something special, more perfect than a diamond. Got the body of a wine glass, I granted you permission, yeah, I give you the hall pass. Let's not let all of this time pass, I want you here forever, on heaven, earth, beyond that. I like you, I like to see where we can go beyond here. And if you feel that way too, let's go fly away and see where we land. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Baby, I would like to see if you feeling this way too. I've traveled the road and I've never seen quite a smile, never seen such a girl as beautiful as you are tonight. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Time is precious, that's why I can't waste none of it. You're my prescription, make me your default, I'll forget. Baby, just listen, I'm finna wrap it up real quick. Get full of gifts, like a present, I call that Saint Nick. If you choose me and make me your boo, I'll stay beside you, hope you fight all your obstacles. I'll always treat you, make you feel everything's possible. I'll always love you and trust you, oh baby. You see me through all my flaws and negative vibrations. That's why I'm digging you, baby. Tell me what you wanna do. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Baby, I would like to see if you feeling this way too. I've traveled the road and I've never seen quite a smile, never seen such a girl as beautiful as you are tonight. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Baby, I would like to see if you feeling this way too. I've traveled the road and I've never seen quite a smile, never seen such a girl as beautiful as you are tonight. Baby, I would like to get to know you. I like to see where we can go beyond here. And if you feel that way too, let's go fly away and see where we land. Baby, let me tell you something I've been checking you out. Baby, you caught my eye, I wanna see where this goes. Want you to be my wife, baby, it's something special, more perfect than a diamond. Got the body of a wine glass, I granted you permission, yeah, I give you the hall pass. Let's not let all of this time pass, I want you here forever, on heaven, earth, beyond that. I like you, I like to see where we can go beyond here. And if you feel that way too, let's go fly away and see where we land. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Baby, I would like to see if you feeling this way too. I've traveled the road and I've never seen quite a smile, never seen such a girl as beautiful as you are tonight. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Time is precious, that's why I can't waste none of it. You're my prescription, make me your default, I'll forget. Baby, just listen, I'm finna wrap it up real quick. Get full of gifts, like a present, I call that Saint Nick. If you choose me and make me your boo, I'll stay beside you, hope you fight all your obstacles. I'll always treat you, make you feel everything's possible. I'll always love you and trust you, oh baby. You see me through all my flaws and negative vibrations. That's why I'm digging you, baby. Tell me what you wanna do. Baby, I would like to get to know you. Baby, I would like to see if you feeling this way too. Traveled the world and I've never seen quite a smile. Never seen such a girl as beautiful as you are tonight. Baby, I would, baby, I would like to get to know you. I like you, I like to see where we can go beyond here. And if you feel that way too, let's go fly away and see where we land.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Before I start today, I want to check. Can you guys hear me? Put a number one in the chat if you guys can hear me. I know there's a little bit of noise in the background. We're coming from sunny LA, guys. It's hot. I mean, it's cooler compared to how it was last week, but it's still a little bit of hot. So if you guys hear the fan in the background, just know that your girl needs that fan. Okay? So you guys can hear me. I see Irby, I see Jose, I see Prime. You guys heard the chat already. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Latin Explaining. I am so glad to be here tonight. I know that it's around 9:30, I guess, in the East Coast. Clarify with me, guys. What time is it in the East Coast? I know in LA it's 6:32 p.m. It's still very sunny outside, still very toasty. We're officially entering the fall season, one of my favorite seasons, but everybody knows I love Christmas. But anyway, we are today ready to discuss the presidential debate. Woo! Oh, Jose said 9:32. Thank you, Jose. That presidential debate, you guys know that I watched. You know that your girl watched the debate, okay? You know, I'm all things politics. I'm always watching, always commenting somehow, even though I've been away from my YouTube platform, but I'm always watching. So I watched the whole thing from the beginning to the end. And I've heard the most outrageous takes. And before I start explaining, this debate, I want to thank Jamaican for subscribing to my channel just now. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody that's watching, everybody that's tuning in. I know everybody's coming slowly because, of course, this is very non-regular for the channel. So as you come in, I'm going to ask you to like this video, share with your friends, share with people you know, support the channel so they can come and enjoy, because this is going to be really, really good. And I'm not trying to change people's minds. I'm going to put that out there. Okay. I'm not trying to change no one's mind with my take on the debate. You guys know I like to come with facts. I don't like pre-digested information. I like to look up things myself, and I like to share them with you guys, which is why, over 500 people watch my streams in a very short amount of time. So, over 600, I'm sorry. With that being said, I'm aware that there's people that are going to be sensitive because they belong to certain groups of people that I'm going to mention in this video. And by no means I am trying to be disrespectful to nobody. So I'm going to ask everybody to leave their sensitivities and whatever group they belong to, put it in the drawer for a minute. We're going to discuss things here. And it's by no means an attack on nobody. It's just simple facts. If you're in those groups, I know I'm in a few groups that I'm going to mention tonight, so we're not going to get sensitive over that, right? All right. With that being said, let's start the debate discussion. I know a lot of people have discussed certain things, and one of the most notorious things that have been circulating around for the debate is the infamous dog eating by Haitian immigrants. And I know that a lot of people are very skeptical about this because There is a lot of contradictory information on the internet. You know, the internet can be very treacherous nowadays. So a lot of things can be fake. And then the conviction which Kamala said, you know, that, oh, you know, stop lying and stuff like that. Like, of course, hey, Rad, what's up? Rad, I mean, your cat was the trivia, man. It was either you or the cat, right? So I'm going to go based on facts, right? We know there's a video circulating that states that there was a lady that ate a cat from a body cam from a cop. That's all over X, formerly known as Twitter. I cannot confirm nor deny that that is a fact or that is a Haitian illegal immigrant. But what I do know as a Puerto Rican that lived almost all my life in the Caribbean is that if there are a group of people that have experienced illegal migration en masse by Haitian people and will answer truthfully if Haitians tend to eat pets and stuff like that, is Dominicans. So I, your girl, decided to go and start digging up media from 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 4 years ago regarding Haitians. And I did found some information regarding what Dominicans experience with the cat eating from the Haitian illegal immigrants. So I'm gonna say to people that are very sensitive and love pets and stuff like that, the images I'm going to display are going to be very sensitive. So I'm gonna, like, if you love animals and you don't like to see like gore and stuff like that, just walk away from the screen or at least block it so you don't have to see what I'm about to share. So I'm about to share basically what Dominicans, in this video is from over a year ago, but is something that's prevalent is that there is some information from 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago regarding Haitians, and Dominicans are just fed up. Last year, it was last year that they became fed up because their pets will disappear. And it was coincidentally as the arrival of Haitian immigrants. So I'm going to play what this guy is trying to explain on radio about what's happening with the Haitian illegal immigrants. It's in Spanish because, of course, we're a Latin platform, but I will translate once he's done. Let's watch what he has to say.
Y yo creo en eso. Les voy a decir por qué creo en eso. Ustedes recuerdan cuando se comenzó con ese problema en Haití. Bájelo más para que los televidentes puedan verlo. Miren, eso es un gato que los haitianos ya se están comiendo los gatos aquí en República Dominicana y los perros también. Y yo lo creo. ¿Por qué digo que yo lo creo? Porque ellos estaban comiendo los dominicanos allá y se estaban comiendo uno con otro.
Basically, he's saying that that is a Haitian lady consuming a cat, roasting a cat in the Dominican Republic. And he said that people have been in disbelief because, you know, there is some uncertainty, whereas if they're eating or not cats and dogs. But he said, I believe it not only because of the pictures, but I believe it because they were also consuming Dominicans over there in Haiti. And if you're not familiar with, I think it was a video that came out, what, 2019, 2020, when there was like a Dominican being roasted and like picked apart while he was alive by Haitians. Then I will encourage you to look up that video because it's too much for me to like show it here. But I've been made aware of that video like many years ago. But let's continue to hear what he has to say.
Horneado se lo comían ellos. Y miren, aquí están acabando ellos con los perros y los gatos, porque yo lo creo, señores. Yo digo que yo lo creo, porque es que los haitianos, aquí en Dominicana, lo que come una galletica, esa es la comida de ellos, una galletica y un refresquito de 10. Miren. Miren ahí para que ustedes vean que yo no le estoy hablando doble P. Usted sabe lo que significa doble P. Yo no le estoy hablando a ustedes doble P. Miren ahí cómo ellos preparan los gatos, para ellos comérselos. Se comen los perros y chihuahua también. Y yo diría, ¿quién no va a nosotros a meter la mano en esta parte? ¿Mm? ¿Quién? No aparece nadie y va a aparecer. Quizá aparezca un chapulín colorado. Miren ahí, ese es el plato favorito ahora de los nacionales haitianos. También quiero recargar que el tráfico de los nacionales haitianos ilegal. Miren ahí el plato favorito, ¿eh? Miren ahí, como lo están preparando los perros, los gatos,
That's how they cook.
para ellos comérselo. Porque es que un haitiano no puede comprar una libre carne. Trabajando de esa manera, otra temática que tiene el haitiano. Atención, República Dominicana y propietario de su casa. No le alquilen a un haitiano. Ellos solamente buscan y hacen un lío para pagarle a usted los depósitos, pero después no.
He's basically saying that on top of, a pet disappearing and then consuming cats and dogs and stuff like that, he's encouraging Dominicans to not rent to Haitian illegal immigrants because they will only pay the deposit and the first rent. And after that, they will not pay. That's what he's saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's what he's saying. Let's continue.
Espere un centavo más de los haitianos. ¿Mm? Porque no pagan casa. Solamente pagan los depósitos. Solamente.
Now, this video that he's about to show, this is from 7 years ago.
Por allá, por donde yo vivo, hay unos haitianos que pagaron nada más los depósitos. Óyeme, y la...
Anyway, I'm going to stop this video. You guys get the gist. Radical said it was proven that this video is old and she wasn't an immigrant, she's a Black American. That is the video that is circulating from the Springfield, Ohio police. What I'm showing is not from America. This is the Dominican Republic, like I said, which is the people that have a very good experience with Haitians migrating illegally into their country. Now, you can say, come down to your own conclusion. You be the judge. But one thing you cannot come tell me is that Dominicans that live in the Dominican Republic that do not want to leave the Dominican Republic and are experiencing the same things, you cannot tell me that they're 1 year ago, they were supporting Donald Trump. 7 years ago, they were supporting Donald Trump to run for office. So, look at Bro Tap. Bro Tap, can you make me some pepper cat? I need some pepper cat. So yeah, this is what's going on. And if you look at Chilean media, they are doing this. Why Haitian immigrants are doing this, I do not know. So that's why I don't want to get disrespectful, because this doesn't call for disrespect. We know Chinese people, I mean, no disrespect, they also consume animals like this. And they go on and consume bats and stuff. I mean, the propaganda spread around during the COVID-19 was that they had some bat broth. We don't have control over what other people decide to consume. We consume chickens, rabbits, and whatever the hell. So, but the fact is, was Donald Trump lying when he said that these people are consuming people's pets? I don't believe so. I don't think he was lying. That's just, I'm sorry, but like, those are the facts. I didn't make it this way. Don't attack me. Don't come for me. And this is what Dominicans are saying 1 year ago and 7 years ago. I think it's very impossible to travel in time and start supporting Trump 7 years ago. But that's just me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know, I think. Now, that was the most controversial point that people were making. But let's get into the most serious topics. We know one thing that, was also very controversial is that we are being told that we need to defend women rights, my body, my choice, my body, my. Look at bro tap, spicy capsicles coming right up. Thank you, bro tap, and put extra barbecue on them. I've never had cat in my life, but I will give it a try. But anyway, so um my body, my choice. And there was a point that Philip Scott made yesterday that was literally the best point. He could not put it even more perfect when he explained Kamala now saying that Kamala. I don't know why the media has got to me with the Kamala to make her sound more like, Creole or African American. She's Kamala. Period. That's an Indian name. But Kamala said, "My body, my choice," but wasn't under her. Wasn't under her like term with Joe Biden that people had no power over their bodies and made no choices. Because if you wanted, I'm going to give my example, right? I was able to avoid the jab as long as I could. Why? Because I used to work for myself. I was self-employed. MK couldn't. MK was, when we came back from our vacation, he was told that upon arrival, he needed to bring proof of the jab. Otherwise, he was basically relinquishing his employment. That's basically what they told him. I didn't have to get the job. The only reason I had to get the job, it was because I was about to be banned from the gym. And you guys know your girl, I like to eat. I needed that gym. I like my brownies, and I needed to be over there working that fat out. So I had to get the job, and I got very sick from it, and I'm still experiencing issues from the job. So to be honest with you, people want to believe, oh, my body, my choice, my body, my choice, but she didn't give us no choice. She don't care about our bodies like that. And it's there's something very cringe and scary when I see people that come from the Christian sector supporting Kamala Harris. Because last time I checked, and people who say you're a Christian, check me if I'm wrong, but church says that abortion is murder. So there's no reason, you have no business believing that, oh, I just want to give women choice over their bodies. No, absolutely not, because that is considered murder. And like you can't have flip-flopping values over who you're going to support. This woman is pro-murder. That's murder. I don't care how you slice it. That's just how it is. So that, let me just put that out there. And again, those are the mild topics from this debate. It's gonna get worse, and I promise you. Again, I'm not trying to change no one's mind, but I'm just gonna show facts. Now, a lot of people said to me, and I have friends that argue this left and right, telling me, oh my God, Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a racist. I cannot vote for that man. That man is just, whoo, Jesus. I cannot vote for that man because he is the worst. And when I hear this from Black and brown people, it's very scary, because you're calling somebody a racist while embracing a person that actively creates systems in which Black and brown people are wrong, and not wrong in like subtle ways, wrong in like life-changing, dramatically life-changing ways. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to point out something that people seem to forget, because now all of a sudden Donald Trump's a criminal, Kamala Harris is this God from heaven that doesn't do no wrong, and she's the best, and she was a prosecutor, and we like to throw that as a how can I put it? We like to throw that out as a banner for a stellar record, as if we don't know the system is rigged, and the system is rigged against specifically non-Caucasian, non-European people. But this is, I want you guys to see, this is from May 21st, 2010, back when Kamala Harris, keep struggling with it. Back when Kamala Harris used to be a district attorney or attorney general, I'm not sure, district attorney of San Francisco. And the news read as, Judge rips Harris's office for hiding problems. And you might ask, okay, let's see. Remember this name, Crime Lab Scandal. Every time you look for that, you're going to find exactly what I found. Let's look at her record, because we like to say, another thing that I've heard a lot is that Donald Trump goes against the Constitution. Donald Trump is going to overthrow government. Donald Trump is not for law and order. And Kamala tends to exploit that from people that don't read and don't research things and don't question media, to sell herself as a person that follows the law, because she's the epitome of it, since she's been in a position of law making, law legislation, law prosecution, etc., for so long. So it says, San Francisco District Attorney Kamala Harris' office violated defendants' rights by hiding damaging information about a police drug lab technician, and was indifferent to demands that it account for its failings, a judge declared Thursday. This is 2010, before she was senator, before she was VP, before everything else, okay? And it says, Superior Court Judge Anne Christine Masulo stopped short of granting a request by more than 40 drug defendants that their cases be dismissed because of prosecutorial misconduct, saying that decision must be left to the judges hearing their cases. But in a scathing ruling, the judge concluded that prosecutors under Kamala Harris' office had failed to fulfill the constitutional duty, to tell defense attorneys about problems surrounding Deborah Madden, the now retired technician at the heart of the cocaine skimming scandal that led police shut down the drug analysis section of the crime lab. Her scandal regarding this lady that was a technician for the police department's drug lab was so costly to the state that the police department in San Francisco had to shut down their drug lab. That's what happened. So let's continue, because you might ask yourself, well, maybe, yeah, but that doesn't point into Kamala directly. Let's continue. It says, prosecutors unable to vouch for the reliability of Madden's work have dismissed more than 600 drug cases since the scandal became public in February. 600, she still has 40 more, 640 cases, but 40 people are still being held. And 600 were released because this news were made aware, but 40 people were still in prison even after the scandal. And it says, Madden testified at trials before leaving the lab in December. Under a 1963 U.S. Supreme Court ruling, district attorneys are obligated to hand over to the defense information about prosecution witnesses that could be used to challenge their credibility. That means that the Supreme Court, there's nothing over the Supreme Court that will hold the Constitution of this country and will hold everybody accountable to it. The Supreme Court is it. And the Supreme Court in 1963 declared or ruled that you're supposed, as a prosecution or district attorney, you're responsible for handing the defense your discovery or your burden of evidence, of proof, that could either make your defendant look guilty or exonerate them. That is what you have to do. Your findings have to be handed over. Period. So that person has a fair trial. The office of Kamala Harris did not do that. But let's continue to see what she did. And it says, Madden, the lab technician, was convicted of a misdemeanor domestic violence in 2008, which should have been reported to the defense lawyers. Last fall, Harris, lead drug prosecutor, complained about Madden's unreliability in a memo to her bosses, information that was also wrongly kept from the defense. So that means Kamala Harris lead prosecution, the person that's like right below Kamala, that means they are close in the office. They have close-knit communication. Complain about this lab technician's unreliability in a memo, is in writing. And even that memo was kept from the defense attorneys that could exonerate 640 people in the state of California for a cocaine charge. And I don't have to tell you which people were harmed by this, but let's continue. It says, police have admitted that they erred in not telling prosecutors about Madden's conviction, and Harris's office had acknowledged that it relied on police to volunteer such information without checking her criminal record. They didn't check her. Masula wrote that top drug prosecutor Sharon Wu's November 19 memo about Madden showed that prosecutors at the highest levels of Kamala Harris, the district attorney's office, knew that Madden was not a dependable witness at trial and that there were serious concerns regarding the crime lab. So they knew altogether, even before prosecuting these cases, that this woman was unreliable. And you're going to see what she was doing. And it said, Wu wrote that crime lab officials believed Madden was unhappy in her job and was intentionally sabotaging the drug analysis unit. None of that, however, was conveyed to defense attorneys in cases in which Madden had analyzed drug evidence. So basically, this lady, because she had her situation with her domestic violence at home, was unhappy with her position at the crime lab. And what she was doing is she was giving false positives for people that were not positive of being in possession of cocaine so that they could be blamed and put behind bars. And Kamala Harris's office, and Kamala Harris was aware of this. She still didn't care. She still did not care. That's why a judge in the Supreme Court had to hold her accountable. It says the failure by Harris's office to produce information actually in its possession. They had this information regarding Madden and the crime lab is a violation of the defendant's constitutional rights. And you can read the rest of this story later on. So basically, what we're talking about here is that this woman does not care about the Constitution. We like to say, oh, Donald Trump is going to do this. Donald Trump is going to do that. Donald Trump is going to overthrow the Constitution. This woman has never been one to hold the Constitution. Rod says, I'm a vote for Trump. He says, I'm a vote for Trump. He's going to protect my pets from these violent criminal migrants. And he said, also, I didn't know it was so easy to take over a whole building with just a few out-of-shape Mexicans and a... So, again, people love to call Donald Trump out for being racist, but never they look into what Kamala has done. And that's not even it. Even though you might be surprised, oh my God, Kamala violated the constitutional rights of 640 people in the state of California. Would you believe that's not even the tip of the iceberg? That's not the worst thing Kamala has done. that Kamala has ruined the lives of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people with her power? Would you believe that? I'll take you down the memory lane for the people that love to uh, protect Kamala at all costs and use terms like racist, sexist, white supremacist to describe a person because they don't have any policies for you. These people are not to be held accountable. And we love to say, oh no, I just don't want Donald Trump in office. I just don't want him in office. I just don't want Donald Trump in office. You don't have to vote for Donald Trump. I've said this several times. I support Bobby Kennedy. That's what I support. Unfortunately, Bobby Kennedy had to withdraw, and I'll get to that later, from several states. From several states. And the reason for that is the beloved Democrats. That's the candidate I want to vote for. You can vote for him too. So when people are like, oh, but what about Trump? You don't have to vote for Donald Trump. You have Cornel West and you have Bobby Kennedy. You're voting for Kamala because you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. That's it. That's just what it is. You have options. You don't have to vote for this woman. This woman is crazy. But let's continue to show people, because sometimes people need to be presented with proof in order for them to understand. Now, this is one of the worst. I think this is one of the things that disgusts me about Kamala Harris the most, if I'm being very honest. This is one of the most disgusting things she has done. So this says how Kamala Harris fought to keep non-violent prisoners locked up. And it says, as California Attorney General, this is when she moved a step forward by sleeping with that married man. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It says, as California Attorney General, she spent years subverting a 2011 Supreme Court ruling requiring the state of California to reduce its prison population. The overseeing judicial panel nearly found the state in contempt. They found her in contempt. This is the Supreme Court. Again, this woman does not give an F about the Supreme Court. And this is from 2020. She wasn't even running for president. So don't come at me with the whole, oh, this is just an up. It's up. This is 2020. And it says, we're going to read this. It says, Senator Kamala Harris, a leading candidate to be Joe Biden's running mate, that was in 2020, repeatedly and openly defied the U.S. Supreme Court order to reduce overcrowding in California prisons while serving as the state attorney general. According to legal documents reviewed by the prospect, we're going to review some of that, what exactly she did in a minute. It says, working in tandem with Governor Jerry Brown, Harris and her legal team filed motions. She actively filed motions. And you're going to see what? I want you to hold on to that information. She filed motions that were condemned by judges. You're going to see why. And legal experts, obstructionist, bad faith, and nonsensical at one point, even suggesting that the Supreme Court lacked the jurisdiction to order a reduction in California's prison population. Now, you can read this whole thing, because if I keep reading all this, it's going to be very long. It's going to be very long. You can look this up. I'm going to do my best to try to link everything in the description box by when I end this stream. You're going to go read it for yourself. But this is what this woman has done. And I know a lot of people, because you guys don't see numbers, you don't understand. So when people talk to me about racism, bro, the black community, one of the most, and the brown community as well, because we suffer from the same problem. One of the things that have destroyed our people the most is incarceration, the incarceration of patriarchs and matriarchs, the broken family, foster care, kids being raised by whoever. And this is the person that the Democrats pick to represent us and so quote unquote defend democracy. What democracy? What's democracy when we know the 13th Amendment exists? We know what it represents. And this woman fought to keep people in prison, violating their rights. If people don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna give you the description of what she was fighting. Remember, she filed motions. She filed motions to keep that going. And you're gonna see what she filed motions for. It says the overcrowding in California case in the Supreme Court is called Brown versus Plata. And I'm going to read exactly the amount of people that this woman affected. And I want you to understand, these are families. Each person is a family. It says, California's prisons are currently designed to house approximately 85,000 inmates. At the time of the U.S. Supreme Court's 2011 decision, Brown versus Plata, that's when Kamala Harris was in office, the California prison system housed nearly twice that many, approximately 156,000 inmates. That means twice the amount. They're not supposed to be there. Two people are not supposed to be in the space of one in a prison. A prison is already confinement enough. And it says the Supreme Court held that California's prison system violated inmates' Eighth Amendment rights, the constitutional rights of inmates. It says the court upheld, we're talking about the Supreme Court of the United States. The court upheld a 3-judge panel's order to decrease the population of California's prison, and this is the number that Kamala fought to keep in prison, by an estimated 46,000 inmates, 46,000 families, people. 46,000 families. This is what this woman does. She wiped her ass with the Constitution. And if you think she's not wiping her ass with your constitutional rights, you're out of your freaking mind. If you come to me saying this woman is for democracy, you're out of your fucking mind. What was democratic about the process she went to become the Democratic nominee? That should tell you, in combination with this, that should tell you that this woman is exactly what she's accusing Donald Trump of, a dictator. Nobody voted for her to be the candidate. If you find me a person that voted for her to be the candidate, I'll give you $2,000, because nobody voted for her. She was installed. And for people that say, no, but they had to nominate somebody because Joe Biden had to quit. You mean to tell me that we saw Joe Biden for 4 years, demented Joe, handshaking no one, going up invisible stairs, still recollecting his dead son, in a declining mental state? That's elderly abuse, but that's another topic. And you mean to tell me that this woman told us all the time, oh, he's sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack. This woman withheld from the American people the declining state of her boss. And this is the woman that's trustworthy? You think she didn't know she was going to be installed? You think she didn't know she was going to be installed? You see, this is the Trump derangement syndrome right here. I am Doom says, but Trump is for democracy? That's a crazy take. Did I say that? I want you to put a number 1 in the chat if I say Trump was for democracy, or number 2 if I did not say that. If I say what is on the screen, again, I want you to put a number one. If I didn't say that, put a number two, because I don't remember saying that. I'm just talking to you about like how you can vote for Cornel West or Bobby Kennedy. You don't have to vote for Trump. Here we go. She's the best option. This is Trump derangement syndrome. This is Trump derangement syndrome. Hey, mulatto, what's up? This is Trump derangement syndrome. Again, you have Cornel West, you have Bobby Kennedy. At the very worst, you have yourself. Write yourself in. Philip Scott has been saying that for months. Write yourself in. If you don't want to vote for nobody else, vote for yourself. But we got to show a message that we cannot keep doing, oh, I'm gonna vote for the worst of both evils, for the best of both evils, or oh, I don't want Trump in office, I'm gonna vote for her. Or the excuse that I hear the most, oh, but you know, those third-party people, I just don't have the vote, because you don't vote for them. You have Trump derangement syndrome. And I'm gonna say it, I don't have a problem either way. I don't have a problem either way. You want to vote for Kamala, you want to put her in office, you want to pay more for groceries, you want to be screwed, that's fine by me. But I'm just gonna say something. When you're called to fight these wars, I'm being very honest. When you are called, because that's where we're heading. And if you're not aware, I have videos here that date back 3 years. 3 years in which I'm explaining the formation of BRICS, in which I'm explaining all the empire crazy moves that are making our enemies unite with nuclear power countries. If you think that people like myself are going to go to that carnage of a war, because we have not won a war, even with people that are not nuclear powers, we have not won a war in decades. If you think that moi, because now they want to draft women apparently, if you think that I'm going to go, hey Morena, what's up? If you think people like MK are going to go fight the war for your choice because you lack the spine to vote for a third-party candidate or write yourself in, if you don't want to vote, you don't have to vote for Trump. If you think we are not willing to go to prison because we're not going to go to this war, you're out of your freaking mind. If you vote for Kamala, I don't care how old you are, you go to war. You go fight her war. I got a son to raise. I'm going to drop my son with my relatives, and I'm going to sit in prison, get my prison tattoo, get my braids, get my prison body, use the time to lose the baby weight, and I'm going to come out and be alive. You die. You go die for her. How about that? That's just what I'm saying. You go die on the wars of the people you are supporting. That's just what it is. Because at some point, to be honest, we got to take a stand. And we got to show people, if you care about your country, you got to do something about it, because it's not getting better. And like I said, we're just starting. Yes, Morena. This is something that we've said. If you think I'm talking nonsense, I swear to God, most of the things I've said in this streams come to happen. That's why people keep following my streams. If you think that we're not going into a war, if you are doubting that, vote for her. Let's see what happens. Go ahead. Give her your vote. Give her your vote. Come on. But just know that I'm going to be in prison with my prison tattoo, boo. I'd rather be in a prison cell fighting for my virginity. I'm not going to a war. And I know a lot of millennials that are saying the same thing. We're not. Hell no. You got me effed up. You go. You go. How about that? You go. Now, we've heard a lot of things regarding Trump's comments. And don't get me wrong, Donald Trump is hilarious. I enjoy his mean tweets when he was president. And I supported him both times when he ran because I thought it was the best option. I had more money when he was in office than I do now. And if you think that's a lie, then you are, again, out of your mind. Once again, I don't think he is not racist. I don't think he is not for self-serving policies. I've never said none of those things. I just think that whatever he's doing ends up benefiting me. And that's all I care about. Now, once again, people said, oh, Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. Donald Trump said that he wants to be a dictator. And, you know, this is what this man is. And this man, but blah, 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 blah. I'm going to play the video because sometimes, you know, we talk without knowing context. And context is very important when it comes to this type of stuff, because it's very easy for you to get a clip and just run with it. Now, let's hear from his mouth what he said when people are like, oh, he's going to be a dictator. Let's hear.
Have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now?
Pressed later.
You would never abuse power as retribution against any.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm going to be, you know,
Things
he
happen.
keeps,
I'm going to rewind it.
and I want to drill,
That's
drill,
not a, that's
drill.
that's
Let's see.
anybody
Except for day one.
except
Look,
for
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
meaning.
I want to close the border, and I want to drill,
That's
drill,
not a, that's
drill.
that's not
He repeats
it's
it.
not retribution. I got.
I'm going to be, you know, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator,
So that,
okay?
Now, again, a lot of people listen to mainstream media and think, oh my God, this man, I don't know if you heard the same thing I did. I heard a very lousy joke from Donald Trump, but he literally said what we all want him to do. Close the darn border and start drilling some gasoline because we're clearly not ready to afford these gas prices. I don't know about you, right? But we have a gasoline car. If you have an electric car, then more power to you. We don't. That's it. And you know what, Irby? I agree with you. When he said he's lying, he's going after his enemy if he's elected. I don't blame him. It's called payback. I agree with you 100%. If you think Donald Trump is not going to get his lick back, you are out of your mind. That man's lying when he's saying he's not going to seek retribution. That man is coming with a vengeance. He's coming like, I don't know, crazy, like the Joker. He's coming for them. Trust me, he's coming. He's coming. He's coming. And would you? Would you? I will come too. I can't blame him either. I cannot. Now, to close this whole statement regarding race, I don't know if you guys remember Kristen Clark, because there was the whole thing about Kamala Harris being black and being Indian and this and that and the third, whatever. All of those things come as a result of an interview that Donald Trump had on NABJ, which is National, what is it? NBAJ, National Black Association of Journalists. So Kamala Harris decided to not show up. And he says it on the interview. I watch all these things. She decided to not show up, which Donald Trump talks about on the interview. She was a DEI hired. And he basically said what I'm about to play. Because your girl comes with receipts. Your girl comes with receipts. And this is what he said on that interview. Now the guys coming in. Hi Jules. Hi Ramon. I see that you guys came in. Please make sure you hit the like button as you come in. Okay? And make sure you share. Well, let's watch what Donald Trump says.
Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the words.
then. Would you give me a definition?
DEI.
He's avoiding the
Give me a
question.
definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So
Watch what he says.
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
Now, you guys know, if you watch my Instagram, right? You guys know that I posted many news cuts in which Kamala Harris ran for office for San Francisco and for California as an Indian American. That is public knowledge. That is public knowledge. And I don't know how truthful it is. I think it is factual. When Trump said he knows her indirectly, again, you can look this stuff up. He donated $11,000 to Kamala Harris in 2014. Because let's not forget, Donald Trump is a long-time former Democrat. So that's where he knows her from. So I hope, guys, that closes that argument on the race situation, because we're about to move into a more sinister argument that people are claiming that Donald Trump lied. Donald Trump looked so bad on that debate. He could have looked better, I'm not gonna lie, but I think he probably held back a little bit to not offend people, because we live in a very high sensitivity era, unfortunately. Thank you, Morena. Thank you, Morena. I don't think that's the argument, Hercules, when you say since when half-breeds ain't Black. It's the fact that she decided to go as me no Black, and then now she's trying to be Black for the sake of the Black vote. I don't know if you catch my drift. That's last time I checked, if you're Black, you can never jump out of that, even if you're half Black. You can never jump out of that, because that's just who you are. That's just what I'm saying. Exactly, Robert. She wasn't Black until 2020. It's funny because she wasn't. She was not. Now, we're going to move forward and now focus on Donald Trump. And we know that he is now considered a felon. And there's a lot of cases, because I want to move past this. There's a lot of cases that he's being tried for, and some people are like, throw him in jail. Why is he not in jail? It's because of the money. It's because of this. No, they cannot put him in jail. They can't put him in jail. They just can't. I'm sorry. It's just, you're never gonna see, Trump's never gonna see the inside of his cell. He's just not. And if you think he is, I want to. I have a Nigerian prince that wants to meet you and wants your money. Okay. So, like, I'm just gonna put that out there. But one thing that was very interesting to me is how they call him like a felon because of his fraud case. And something caught my. Can you guys hear me now? I'm sorry, I was muted. When mainstream media was asking around, basically, the veracity of the cases in which Donald Trump was prosecuted, allegedly, because of fraud, and they went to the most crooked developer in America, Kevin O'Leary. If you don't know who Kevin O'Leary is, look him up when this stream's finished. You have a lot of homework that I'm giving you. Look up Kevin O'Leary. They look for Kevin O'Leary, and I think mainstream media did that because they thought, oh, Kevin O'Leary is just gonna throw us a bone because he's so crooked. Like, you cannot trust a man like that. But I want you guys to see what Kevin O'Leary had to say regarding Donald Trump's prosecution, because it's just this world. I agree with that, Mexican American media. I agree with that. Picking JD was stupid. But I want you guys to see. Give me 1 second. We're live. I want you guys to see.
$70 million for falsifying financial records. Here to break it all down and what's
They
at
fined
stake,
him
Shark
for that,
Tank
remember?
judge and
$300
chairman of
million.
O'Leary Ventures. Some call him Mr. Wonderful. We'll call him Kevin O'Leary tonight. Kevin, thank you for being here today. I have to ask you, I mean, look, some people look at all this and they say, is this what happens in business, what Trump has said he's done or is accused of being done? You've been doing real estate for decades. Does this case strike you as odd?
Well, let's leave out Trump for a minute and let's leave out politics and just talk about what happens in real estate development anywhere. So if you're a developer and you've got a building on a block anywhere in America and it's worth, let's say, $500 million and you want to build a building right beside it, you go to the bank and say, this building is worth $500 million. I'd like to borrow a construction finance loan against this asset. And I want you to tell me it's worth $500 million too. And the bank negotiates with you and says, well, no, we think it's worth $400 million. And you fight it out. You're always trying to show your assets in the brightest light with the sunshine you can possibly determine for them. You want them to be worth the very most because you're only going to get a 40 or 50% loan to value, as it's called. Then you borrow that money. In the case of a $500 million asset, maybe you get $250 million and you build a new building with a construction finance loan. And so that's what this case is all about. And by the way, forget about Trump. Every single real estate developer everywhere on earth does this. They always talk about their asset being worth a lot, and the bank says no. And that's just the way it is. So in this case, when I'm trying to figure out, and I'm not pro or con, or I don't care about the politics, who lost money? Nobody. The bank got paid back the construction finance loan, and a new building was built. And if you're going to sue this case and win, you got to sue every real estate developer everywhere. This is all they do. This is what they do all day long, every day. So I don't think this thing will ever survive appeal, regardless of what the fine is. This doesn't even make sense. Now, look, I know Trump's got a lot of problems in other indictments and everything else, but this, if you're a real estate developer, you're watching this, you're saying, what is this? This is ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, most people who are in this world are not real estate developers, and they necessarily don't know that this is the way maybe things are done, even if it might be violative of the law. But the question about who loses money, and I've heard this argument, and he's raised this argument, and others have raised this argument, that who's the real victim here? How about the fact that you can get a tax benefit for having overvalued or having a different value that's actually normal? Doesn't that deprive the state of revenue? Is that enough, do you think? I know you're laughing.
You better
but
get
this
ready to.
Rich people
He's
problems are
laughing at
very
her
different
because
than
she's
my
making
world.
no
Go ahead.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. And you're making a valid point. But it's humorous in the sense that you have to sue every single real estate developer here in Miami, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in Detroit, in Dallas. This is what they do every day.
Everyone
this is what
does
the real estate game is all about. It's getting construction financing against stabilized assets. When a building is fully leased out and everybody's renting it and you've got offices or you've got apartments in it, it's called a stable asset. And you value it and you go to the bank and say, this asset is worth $500 million. And I want to borrow $250 million against it. And the bank always negotiates with you. Everybody understands how this works. And that's why I think it's going to be very, very hard to make this stick in reality later. This is not, of all the things that.
Isn't that, I'm sorry to stop it, but isn't that what Trump said on the debate when he said that these cases are getting thrown out? It's not going to stick. Like I said, it's just not going to stick. But let's continue to hear this part because this is very important when he talks further about this.
Trump's being accused of and being litigated for and indicted for. This is not his problem. This is not his problem. He's got much worse problems than this.
Absolutely.
This is, for real estate developers, this is a joke.
It's fascinating to me to hear this perspective because you don't often hear it from that particular angle. And of course, you wonder if everyone's doing it and one would have to sue everybody. Does that mean that they got to have a bigger prosecutor's office, or that the laws have to change to make it? I mean, you can't.
She's asking him not that, hey, can we do this? Do right by Trump? No, it's like, oh, then now let's do this to every developer, all of this up. This is CNN. This is what they do. Let's continue.
And not do, like, what is the solution here? You get punished for it, or you shouldn't do it, or you know what? It should be okay.
The first question, is everybody doing it in real estate? Yes, everybody's doing it. Not only domestically, all around the world. This is how it works, okay? Now, you don't want to be Donald Trump and get embroiled in what looks like, I mean, it looks to me in this presidential race, and I'm not in favor of this, that the courts are being used to try and sway voters on both sides of the equation. I don't understand why we're trying to, impeach Biden. What a waste of time. And his son and all this stuff and all of this litigation on Trump hasn't moved the needle for either of these candidates. People don't care about this noise anymore. And it's obvious when you look at these poll results. And so why keep doing it? I mean, let the voters vote and decide on the merits of both. I'd rather hear policy.
I agree with Kevin. I'd rather hear their policies. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather hear the policies.
I'd rather not hear about Trump's real estate woes in New York. I'd like to hear his tax plan. I want to hear about security at the border. I'd like to hear foreign policy from both of these candidates so I can make a decision as a voter on which of these people should be president. And the rest of this stuff is just horrific noise. When in America do we sue sitting presidents and former presidents? We've never done this before. This is really bad for the American brand. This is it feels like Venezuela to me or something.
Now, you guys have heard what Kevin O'Leary had to say. And unfortunately, I have to agree with him. This is Venezuela. This is Venezuela, guys. So I don't, and if you think it's not, name me, go to the politics of those countries where everybody that challenges whatever is in power has to either flee the country or get sued or get threatened with their lives. That's what we're seeing. And you're sharing it on. I'm not saying particularly whoever is listening to this and don't believe that, but whoever believes these lies is cheering this on and pandering to the madness. I always thought Americans were for freedom of speech, for their constitution, for their ability to just excel. And it's so sad that we are witnessing the carcass of what once was a great nation. And it's really, really, really sad. And it's bad. It's really bad what's happening in this country. And one thing I want to throw out there is how the DOJ, because people are like, oh, like he incited an insurrection. Go to X, formerly known as Twitter, and type Nancy Pelosi, right? Nancy Pelosi, this is what I needed. This is what I needed. And I wanted to bring you guys her letter, but you guys know that this January 6th thing is just bogus because Donald Trump offered her more National Guard. She said no. She's on record by her own daughter saying, I'm responsible, as she's fleeing on January 6, 2021, as she's fleeing the Capitol. She's saying that her daughter is recording her for her documentary saying this. If you still believe that this man tried an insurrection, you're out of your mind. Again, now we're going to get on the democracy BS that people want to sell us. Because I really want to tackle this down before I finish here. I really want to tackle on what's being said regarding the supposedly democracy, right? So a lot of people have said that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I already show you guys a few clips of stuff that proves the opposite. But unfortunately, that's not enough for certain people. That's just not enough for certain people. So a lot of people think that what we're seeing with Donald Trump and with Kamala Harris is a democratic process when it's not. And before I want to show you guys what my pick, right, was and why the pick that many people wanted to be the Democratic candidate, that purposely the Democratic Party for the third election has installed someone. The Democratic Party rejected Bobby Kennedy. And I want you to see why. I want you to hear from his own mouth, because you can say, oh, Denise, you're lying, you're not well educated, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. But I want you to hear from his own mouth when this man is explaining the ordeal that he faced simply
2023,
because he decided
I launched my campaign for president of the United States.
to run.
I began this journey as a Democrat, the party of my father, my uncle, the party which I pledged my own allegiance to long before I was old enough to vote. I attended my first Democratic convention at the age of 6 in 1960. And
Hear
back
him
then, the
well.
Democrats were the champions of the Constitution, of civil rights. The Democrats stood against authoritarianism, against censorship, against colonialism, imperialism, and unjust wars. We were the party of labor, of the working class. The Democrats were the party of government transparency and the champion of the environment. Our party was the bulwark against big money interests and corporate power. True to its name, it was the party of democracy. As you know, I left that party in October because it had departed so dramatically from the core values that I grew up with.
Now, I want you guys to understand, again, my vote is for this man. Now, he's going to explain to you in his own words, from his own mouth, why people like myself might not be able to vote for him. So hear closely and step out of the Trump derangement syndrome.
It had become the party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money. When it abandoned democracy by canceling the primary to conceal the cognitive decline of the sitting president, I left the party to run as an independent. The mainstream of American politics and journalism derided my decision. Conventional wisdom said that it would be impossible even to get on the ballot as an independent because each state poses an insurmountable tangle of arbitrary rules for collecting signatures. I would need over 1 million signatures, something no presidential candidate in history had ever achieved. And then I'd need a team of attorneys and millions of dollars to handle all the legal challenges from the DNC. The naysayers told us that we were climbing a glass version of Mount Impossible. So the first thing I want to tell you is that we proved them wrong.
They found the 1 million signatures per state. I want you guys to understand that. That's what he's saying. They demanded him, the bipartisan establishment, the managerial class of our country, which is the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, demanded that Bobby Kennedy, the third option, needed to do impossible things, jump through impossible loopholes in order to be on the ballot. And they still did it. But watch what happens.
We did it because beneath the radar of mainstream media organs, we inspired a massive independent political movement. More than 100,000 volunteers sprang into action, hopeful that they could reverse our nation's decline. Many worked 10-hour days, sometimes in blizzards and blazing heat. They sacrificed family time, personal commitments, and sleep month after month, energized by a shared vision of a nation healed of its divisions. They set up tables at churches and farmers markets. They canvassed door to door. In Utah and in New Hampshire, volunteers collected signatures in snowstorms, convincing each supporter to stop in the frigid cold, to take off their gloves, and to sign legibly. During a heat wave in Nevada, I met a tall, athletic volunteer who cheerfully told me that he had lost 25 pounds collecting signatures in 117-degree heat. To finance this effort, young Americans donated their lunch money, and senior citizens gave up part of their Social Security checks.
Did you hear what he said? Young Americans donated their lunch money. Old people donated some of their Social Security checks. That's how fed up Americans that see things for what they are. And I think when people, it's major disrespect when you present facts to people that are suffering from either Trump entanglement cult or Kamala Harris's Trump derangement syndrome, the Kamala Rangers. When you face both of these people and you talk to them about change, and about progress and about caring for your neighbor, the other people, families, for the country itself. And they slap at you with stuff that, oh, but this person is a racist, but that person is this, or that person, oh, you don't know what you're talking. Oh, no, that this third party, it's nothing. That I cannot support this. I cannot support this other person because then I don't want this other person to win. Just know that these people that are doing that are spitting in the faces of people that did, Americans that did all of this. And when you defend that you don't have to vote for either or, and you get called a Trumper or a Kamala Ranger as a result of that, it's disrespect on the sacrifice that these Americans have made. But continue to hear, because he's going to tell you why people like me might not be able to vote for Bobby Kennedy.
Our 50-state organization collected those millions of signatures and more. No presidential campaign in American political history has ever done that. And so I want to thank all of those dedicated volunteers and congratulate the campaign staff who coordinated this enormous logistical feat. Your accomplishments were regarded as impossible. You carried me up that glass mountain. You pulled off a miracle. You achieved what all the pundits said could never be done.
This is the story of how Pipe Drive.
It's on a commercial, but I'll bring it back.
You have my deepest gratitude, and I'm never going to forget that. Not just for what you did for my campaign, but for the sacrifices you made because you love our country. You showed everyone that democracy is still possible here. It continues to survive in the press and in the idealistic human energies that still thrive beneath the canvas of neglect and of official and institutional corruption. Today, I'm here to tell you that I will not allow your efforts to go to waste. I'm here to tell you that I will leverage your tremendous accomplishments to serve the ideals that we share, the ideals of peace, of prosperity, of freedom, of health, all the ideals that motivated my campaign. I'm here today to describe the path forward that you've opened with your commitment and with your hard labors. Now, in an honest system, I believe that I would have won the election.
100%.
In a system the kind that my father and my uncles thrived in, a system with open debates, with fair primaries, with regularly scheduled debates, with fair primaries, and with a truly independent media untainted by government propaganda and censorship. In a system of nonpartisan courts and election boards, everything would be different. After all, the polls consistently showed me beating each of the other candidates, both in favorability and also in head-to-head matchups. But I'm sorry to say that while democracy may still be alive at the grassroots, it has become little more than a slogan for our political institutions, for our media, and for our government, and most sadly at all for me, the Democratic Party. In the name of
Who he said that is just a slogan for? Did he talk about Trump? He talked about the Democratic Party, which is what he is. He's a Democrat. Let's continue.
saving democracy, the Democratic Party set itself to dismantling it, lacking confidence in its candidate, that its candidate could win in a fair election at the voting booth. The DNC waged continual legal warfare against both President Trump and myself.
What did he say? Legal warfare against Donald Trump and myself. Let's continue.
Each time that our volunteers turned in those towering boxes of signatures needed to get on the ballot, the DNC dragged us into court, state after state, attempting to erase their work and to subvert the will of the voters who had signed those petitions. It deployed DNC-aligned judges to throw me and other candidates off the ballot and to throw President Trump in jail.
Now, you can say whatever you want. You want to be a Kamala Ranger. You want to be a non-racist. You want to appease the women rights defending, whatever you want to say. But if that does not sound to you like a dictatorship, like we live in a dictatorship state where political opposition is persecuted legally and even their lives are threatened, you can say whatever, because it's easy to just put it on Trump, because Trump is rude as fuck. And the stuff he says sometimes is very moronic. And he has no filter. You can put that out there. But Bobby Kennedy's family has bled for the country. Both of their politicians that family produced have been killed for a reason. For a reason. If the Democratic Party was not a party that's against the democracy, why they need to sue? Because the Republican Party is not suing Bobby Kennedy. It's not. And I'm not Republican. You know I'm not a Republican. So again, why? Once again, I'm not gonna play the whole thing because we will be here forever. I just wanted you guys to watch that, because he didn't stop his campaign like Ramon said. What he did is that he realized he acquired 5% of the vote, and in swing states he rescinded his support so that those people can vote for Donald Trump. But in other states like California, if he's not further sued, he will appear in the ballot. So there's options, guys. There's options. And people can talk shit all they want, but we are going through something very similar in Puerto Rico. And for many years, we had the blue party and the red party going at each other all the time, head to head, and people were hating on each other because of that. And it was always the threat of not being like Cuba and Venezuela. Oh, vote for the new Progressive Party because you don't want to be like Cuba and Venezuela. Vote for the Popular Party because you don't want to be like Cuba and Venezuela. Don't vote for the Independent because you don't want to end up like Cuba and Venezuela. It's the same thing. And it took us so long for Puerto Ricans to realize that the same parties that are telling us to not vote independent and putting the fear of God in Puerto Ricans to not vote independent and call it a fool's errand are the same people that they did not turn us into Cuba and Venezuela. They turned us into Haiti. And it's very painful to see that. It's very painful to see that. Very painful to see that. And now, for the first time, I posted that a while ago on my Instagram. Now, for the first time, people are believing a third party is what we need. Everybody's believing in the beloved revolution, but now it's difficult. Now it's harder to unplug from this. And now the people live in worse conditions. There's a lot of Puerto Rican poverty right now. And that's where we're heading. And it's not a pretty picture. It's just not, guys. So I'm gonna start wrapping this up. There's a lot of things that I can say because there's more evidence about this, like way more. We have the DOJ official saying on their cover that there is persecution against Donald Trump, and that that's a bogus case, that nobody has ever been tried for the stuff that he's been tried. That's on video. That's an undercover. Yes, Irby, it is a part of the United States, but unfortunately, is not treated like the United States. So, with that being said, one last thing that I do want to show you guys is that this is what, for the Kamala Rangers, of course, the Kamala Rangers, that Kamala can do no wrong. Kamala is a saint. I'm going to give you guys the Kamala remix. You're going to love this. Oh, you guys are going to love this. For whoever stay till the end, this is the best part. I'm saving it for last. You're gonna love this, okay? You're gonna love it. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay. You're gonna love this, Kamala Rangers. This is the woman that's going to negotiate us out of a war. Let's go.
And here we go.
In this battle for the very soul of our nation, we have seen what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been and knowing what can be. What we know can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. An America that we know can be unburdened by what has been. To know what can be unburdened by what has been. You see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. And the courage to see what can be, what should be, unburdened by what has been. And seeing what is possible unburdened by what has been. Saw what could be unburdened by what had been. Is the ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what is possible and what can be unburdened by what has been and who has done what. Always believe in what can be unburdened by what has been. That is what I want for you. Is to see what can be unburdened by what has been. Who saw what could be unburdened by what had been. Who saw what could be unburdened by what had been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what is possible and what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what had been. We see what can be unburdened by what has been. The ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. A future unburdened by what had been. The ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what is possible. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. We see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. The ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. The pursuit of what can be unburdened by what has been. You got to be able to see what can be unburdened by what has been. You all have the ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. We see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see America as it can be unburdened by what has been. President Johnson saw what could be unburdened by what had been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. The ability to see America as it can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. And what can be unburdened by what has been. Who have the power and the ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
Shut up! Shut the f up!
I told y'all, save it for last. But that is the foreign policy negotiator in chief. Y'all want to vote in. And like I said, I'm not here to change no one's mind. But guys, like I said, we're screwed regardless because people are not going to wake up to the reality that they're going to vote in their interest. Propaganda is made so that you vote against your interest. And I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial. But the more these people want me to put my interest, my economy, the safety of my child, the safety of my family, my life, if it comes to war, the fact that they want us to put our needs, not wants, this is not our desires or luxuries, our needs, put them to the side. Oh, you can pay for gas, you can pay for food, you can pay for shit. There's poison in your food, there's poison everywhere, there's pollution, people are operating at the behest of oligarchs. The fact that people are telling us, these politicians have the audacity to tell us, put your needs to the side in order for you to save the democracy, it makes me want to not save it. Because every election, we got to say something and forget about our needs. So I don't know about you, but I'm done saving democracy. Maybe democracy needs to end. At least the democracy these people are talking about. Maybe it needs to explode and be set on fire. Respectfully. But that's just, come on. That's just how it is, guys. And like I said, if you are not in a swing state, try to write yourself in. Send a message that you're not for the bullshit because you can't see through the propaganda. You can't see through the landlord special paint. You know when a landlord, like a slumlord, gives you an apartment and everything is painted over to disguise that there is caked on grease, rusted hinges, fucked up things on the walls, fucked up things on the breakers and all the stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's what this is. It's a landlord special. And if you cannot see those things, you're going to vote either or. Either or. If you can see them, if you can see the details and you're aware of it, you're going to write yourself in, you're going to vote for a third party, or you're going to choose the couch. I'm putting that out there. Who you want to be unburdened by what has been. I'm going to use that. I'm going to find a way to use that. What can be unburdened by what has been. And with that being said, guys, like I said, this was just a pop-up. This was just a pop-up. But guys, I please use your brain. Use your brain, vote with facts. Turn off mainstream media. Watch Philip Scott, watch Tim Black, watch Jimmy Dore, watch whoever. Just stop watching nonsense. Stop watching nonsense. Question everything, And if you don't, like I said, if you're a Kamala Ranger, just know people like me, when it comes down to war, we will be in prison. We will have our braids and our tattoos. You go fight that war, okay? With that being said, guys, thank you so much. Have a nice one, and let's see who wins this stuff. Bye.